Hey y'all, today I want to talk about Robert Pattinson's The Batman movie and why I think it's an interesting deconstruction of toxic masculinity. But first let's talk about Batman as a character. When I was younger, I loved Batman. But why is that? Well, it's probably because he is this big, hulking dude that is super stoic, has no powers, is able to manipulate situations with his willpower alone, and his hyperviolence is unmatched. But the older I got, I started to think about why Batman demonstrates these attributes in the way he does. Because if you really think about it, Batman is a broken individual. His childhood trauma from decades ago are kept in the back of his mind constantly, and instead of seeking emotional resolve, he runs away from these issues and lets his anger manifest through his violent actions. Even when he returns to Gotham as a new Batman, he has this strange sense of ownership of the city, as if he as one man is entitled to be its protector despite if others want it or not. This is a very toxically masculine approach to trying to resolve trauma. Instead of being vulnerable, letting himself grieve, decompress, and talk about his feelings with people he loves, he suppresses his emotions, asserts dominance over everyone in Gotham, and defends his masculinity when it's threatened by his rogues gallery. Why is this a character people idolize? Because it's pretty readily apparent this hyper-masculine facade that Batman uses to suppress his trauma is not healthy. And I think Robert Pattinson's Batman movie does something interesting to address this. Just look at the visual comparisons of Pattinson's Batman to other examples of Batman we've seen on the big screen. He's not this hyper-masculine, strung-out bodybuilder. He's fit, yeah, but he's got long hair and kind of acts emo when he listens to Nirvana. But more importantly, his actions speak to his trauma. Think about the hesitation he has in this film when talking to Catwoman. He has suppressed his emotions for so long, it's kind of difficult for him to act normal. And with Pattinson's acting, you can see a very broken look in Bruce Wayne's eyes that speak volumes to his pain. And even in this film, he isn't very emotionally expressive unless he's being violent or displaying his anger. Pattinson even acknowledged as much in an interview with Total Film, saying he's got this enormous trauma inside of him, and he's built this intricate psychological mechanism to handle it. It's like a really bad self-help therapy, which has ended up with him being Batman in the end as self-help. Granted, this movie isn't a comprehensive deconstruction of toxic masculinity, but I think it's the closest we've gotten to seeing Batman's trauma explored in a realistic way on the big screen. It makes sense that someone with all these issues would come across as a hyper-violent weirdo shut-in. And I think at a surface level, Batman's facade of hyper-masculine actions like his physique, his violence, the way he suppresses his emotional state, and his entitled sense of ownership over Gotham City as its protector is something a lot of young men aspire to. And I think it's a little weird when people make posts of Batman saying, "I'm him," because honestly, this is not a character I want to be. I think it's probably healthier to be emotionally vulnerable with people you love, work through your trauma, and not let violent actions act as a masquerade for your unresolved anger. Don't get me wrong, I still think Batman is a very cool character, but the older I've gotten, the more I've realized he's a compelling case study, but not necessarily an inspiring person. Anyway, that's the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Thanks for watching.